Welcome to another Azure Guide video where hands-on learning is priority one. I'm an Azure administrator, Azure security engineer, as well as an Azure solutions architect. Azure Guide videos version 2 and above is a one-stop for learning Azure and for preparing for Azure exams. The videos combine hands-on learning with technical information shown in text bubbles during the video sessions. To measure your progress, there are video quizzes as well. This training session, you will learn about how to create a point-to-site VPN connection. You will create a virtual network, create a virtual network gateway, generate certificates, add the client address pool, configure authentication type, upload the root certificate, public certificate data, install the exported client certificate, generate and install the VPN client configuration package, connect to Azure, and verify the connection. So, what is a site-to-site point-to-site VPN? If you're taking the AC500 test, you'll be asked about this type of technology many times in many different ways. But it allows you individual clients running Windows, Linux, or Mac to connect to Azure VNet. A point-to-site VPN connections are useful when you want to connect to your VNet from a remote location, such as when you're telecommunicating from home or a conference. You can also use point-to-site instead of a site-to-site VPN when you only have a few clients that need to connect to a VNet. Point-to-site connections do not require a VPN device or a public-facing IP address. Point-to-site creates the VPN connection over either Secure Socket Tunneling Protocol or IKE version 2. I think this is going to be a very, very great training session. Here we have a nice picture of the lab we're going to proceed with. We're going to have a VPN client. It's going to use our laptop to RDP through a tunnel to our VPN gateway to a VM in our VNet. You can also see the parameters we're going to use for this lab. Our subnet name, our address range, our gateway, etc. Feel free to use these values or any values you like. But let's go ahead and get started. This lab will be several videos. This video where we will cover creating the VNet and the VPN gateway. So let's go. Alright, the first thing we want to do is create our resource group. And it's going to be called Test RG1. So Test RG1, and I'm going to stick it with East US. I'm not going to give it any tags, and we'll say create. Excellent. So let's now go to our resource group. And looking pretty good. Next thing we want to do is create our VNet. So we'll say add. Say VNet. Which stands for virtual network. And we'll say create. And the first thing we want to do is name our virtual network. And we're going to call that VNet1. Whoops. Alright, we'll click on next for assign some IP addresses. And we're going to go with the default here of 10.1.0.016. And we're going to go ahead and add a subnet. And we're going to call it front end. And that will be 10.1.0.0/24. We need to remove this one first. So cancel, click on that one, remove subnet, add a subnet, front end, 10.0.0.0/24. 10.1. All right, looking pretty good. We'll say add. And we'll go next. And then we're not going to worry about any of these options. We just want a very simple virtual network because our focus here is learning how to create a point-to-site VPN. So tags, we won't create any tags either. So review and create. It says we're missing something. So let's go back to, normally it usually tells you required information is missing or not valid. So, oh, here we go. It does give us where. We must have forgot to add. Must have forgot to click a button. I must have forgot to hit add here or something. But we'll say front end 10.1.0.0/24. Add. Okay, it's there. That should satisfy. That should be good. Review and create. This time it's there. Validation passed. So go ahead and create, and you can see it's initializing. So that's excellent. Okay, it looks like our virtual network was complete. So that's excellent. We'll go back to the resource group. Okay, next we need to create our virtual network gateway. So click on add here. Type in virtual network gate. That should be enough. And there it is. And we'll say create. Then of course we'll be prompted for fill in some values. All right, so name, we're going to go ahead and call it VNet1 Gateway. And I'm going to just stick with the East. Why not keep everything in East, one region? And we do want a VPN. We're going to go route-based. The SKU is, we're going to accept the SKU. We could choose basic in our case, but we're going to go with VPN gateway, this version here. Do generation 1. For virtual network, we'll choose our VNet1. For our address range, 256, a little excessive. We're going to make this put in the 255 subnet and make this a 27. Even though one could even argue that's going to be kind of large, but this is what Microsoft recommends. So we're going to go with what Microsoft recommends. Create a public IP address. Yes, we're going to want one of those. So let's go with, for the name, let's go with VNet 1GW PIP, and we're going to deactivate, enable active mode, as well as BGP. So let's go to our tags. I don't plan on tagging anything, so this should be a very short screen. And we click validation. So that's good. Everything looks good here. So we'll hit create. A gateway can take up to 45 minutes to fully create and deploy. As you can see, we see the overview page and we get the deployment status. After the gateway is created, we'll be able to view the IP address that has been assigned to it by looking at the virtual network in the portal. And the gateway pairs as a connected device. So I'm going to pause the video here. And once this is complete, we'll have a couple questions and answers, a quiz about what we covered in here. It's kind of a reinforcement of learning. And then that'll be the end of this video. So don't leave just yet. Stay for the sample quiz. All right. As you can see, our deployment is complete. And so we'll go ahead on to the quiz part of this lab and then see you in the next lab. Good luck on the quiz.